If you're in the UK, good evening. If you're in the US or Canada, good afternoon.
And if you are in the land of the rising sun, Japan, or the land down under, Australia, good morning. Welcome to the Magic of Wrestling podcast.
Awesome. We've got a very, very special guest. It's going to be confusing because from the UK, we know him as Martin Stone. The US, obviously, know him as Danny Burch. But do you know what? Intern, roll the intro. It is, of course, Saturday night again. It's time for the Magic of Wrestling. I am the magician, Liam Wakeland.
And I am the effing expert, Mr. Isaacs.
Now, I just want to say one thing because I'm going to get really confused. As I mentioned earlier, obviously in the UK, we know this guy as Martin Stone, but Mr. Isaacs, you obviously know as Danny Burch. But I've got to ask, does that get confusing for you as well?
No, Danny Burch, I can't use anymore, so I'm not, so to be fair, I didn't really like the name anyway. I kind of just got stuck with it. So, yeah. But you just make it work. You get what you're given and you make it work. So,
of course. And how's your week been? You having a good one?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Busy. I'm trying to think. I had four shows in 2 days this past weekend. So. Still recovering from that and still feeling the effects of that. So,
Mr. Isaacs?
Yeah, I've been doing all right this week, man. I've been a little under the weather the past couple of days, but I'm feeling a lot better today. So I'm glad to be here, though. This is a big interview for us, and we're very happy to have Mr. Stone here with us.
Of course.
I appreciate that, lads.
Not a problem. So, Mr. Isaacs, I'll let you kick this interview off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so obviously being from America here, I haven't seen a whole lot of your work in the British independent scene. So I'm going to focus my questions kind of on the American side of things. We'll talk about NXT a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate.
Yeah, so I know you kind of started out, at least before you got to the main NXT, you were in NXT UK. And I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts were, what your experience was like.
That's wrong straight off the bat. I started off in the US version of NXT, not the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I did NXT UK. I did the UK tournament, like the first UK tournament, and I worked the first set of tapings, and I worked one other set of tapings. But I've always been based in the States. So,
oh, great. Well, what were your thoughts on NXT UK? Because I saw a really good match there you had with Pete Dunne for the NXT UK title, and that was great. So I was just kind of wondering what your thoughts were on that organization.
Yeah, it was the same as it was here. It was back home in the UK. There wasn't really, Pete is fantastic. I'm trying to think. How many times I've worked Pete now? About 4 or 5 times. So we always had good matches. So it was a real pleasure.
Yeah, and one of the things about working with him was your facial reactions and everything when he had you in those joint locks. Like I felt the pain through the screen. You did a really good job conveying that because some of that looks brutal. With the finger twisting and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine there might be a little bit of soreness after that.
Yeah.
Well, and then obviously what most people are going to remember for your run here is you had the NXT tag title run with Oni Lorcan, which was absolutely awesome. I went back and watched your match with Breezango when you all won the title. What are your thoughts on teaming with Oni Lorcan? What are your thoughts of that time period?
You know what? It just worked. So the first time I met him was the first time I wrestled him. So just again, Hunter and Mr. Regal had an idea and they had a vision and they just looked at us and just went, "Yeah, we're gonna make you. We're gonna make use to a tag team, and it worked, and just to get the chance to have the NXT Tag Team Championships was, it was very, very, very humbling, And then, we got to do the whole thing with Pat McAfee, which obviously culminated at War Games, So just I've been very, very lucky, really lucky.
Yeah, definitely. That War Games match was that was crazy.
Yeah,
I went back and watched that yesterday as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really long match. There was a lot of cool spots in it. What were your thoughts of that match? I mean, that was a really long match. What all went into putting that together?
Again, you had an entire ring of, if you actually look at the collective years of the talent in that ring, there must have been close to 100 years worth of talent knowledge, plus we were working with Sean on that, we were working with Hunter on that, so just it was a crazy match. It wasn't, it was crazy, to be inside that structure, it was fantastic,
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd mentioned that you we're teaming with Pat McAfee there. What are your thoughts on Pat McAfee? What kind of interaction did you have with him?
Pat is literally he is a born natural for the business. He really is. So,
I loved him as a heel there. I thought he was great.
he's a real good guy. He's a really good guy, and he's just a natural, So.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you guys were working against the Undisputed Era. Those guys are all stars as well. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the Undisputed Era guys?
Oh, what can I say that's not already been said? You have, again, it was a group of pure talent, Roddy, Kyle, Fish, Adam, again, and again, it was, we had the match at Takeover Chicago was the match that made myself and Oni, we had the tag match against Roddy and Kyle, so most of my career in NXT was always intertwined with Undisputed Era, so great guys, great talent,
Yeah, absolutely. I went back and watched that match yesterday, just kind of like to refresh myself for this interview. And I've had Black Sabbath War Pigs stuck in my head ever since I've they played that about 50 times during the broadcast.
Well, so I think originally, if it hadn't been during the pandemic, I know originally that was going to be one of the idea was to get Ozzy Osbourne there at the show, but obviously because of the pandemic, it didn't happen. It sucked, but yeah, that would have been amazing.
That would have been absolutely epic.
Yeah, that would have been absolutely amazing to meet Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean that was during the for anybody that doesn't remember, that was during the pandemic era where they had the fans on the screens and the I think they called it the Thunderdome. That was odd. It had to be strange to go from wrestling in front of audiences to wrestling in front of a bunch of TV screens. Was that kind of a weird transition?
The screens was a relief because I remember working the first set of when COVID first hit, and I literally worked Kushida in front of nobody. There wasn't even screens up, so it sucked. It absolutely sucked, and and again. Pro wrestling is such it's a live crowd art form. So if there's no crowd there, then it's very, very hard. But it was COVID. We made the best of the worst possible scenario. So
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, 10, 20 years from now to go back and look at some of those COVID shows and think, wow, that's just so.
No one is going to go back and watch those COVID shows. No one's going to go back and watch them. No one. So.
Well, since you were tag champions with Oni Lorcan, who is known as Biff Busick, I believe, here in the States, in the independent scene, what are your thoughts on him? Do you still keep in touch with him these days?
I haven't spoken to him in what? It's got to be. I haven't spoken to him in about a year. It's been a while. Great guy. Just once you're out of that bubble, you lose touch with a lot of people. So
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can understand that.
But again, we had a real good run. Great guy. So
Absolutely. Now, how long did you live in the States?
I'm still in the States. I've been living here since 2012 was when I first moved here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been here for quite a while then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on living in the States? How different is it from living in the UK?
It's good weather.
Typical.
I imagine you're probably in Florida, right?
Florida.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah, just, it's, God, I've been in Florida. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So what's 2012? Yeah. So I first moved out when I first reported for duty in FCW, which was the first time I was under developmental. God, so that's what 2012. How many years is that? 12 years? 10 years? Long
That'll
time.
be
Put it that way.
about 11
But
years.
I mean, I'm it's home now. So.
All right. Well, thank you for answering those questions, sir. I'm going to turn it back over to Liam now.
Thank you very much. So obviously we're going to focus now on the UK side. So you're obviously a big part of obviously 1PW at the very, very start. I mean, what was that for like you personally?
What, to come back to 1PW or when it first started?
When it first started, sorry.
I'm trying to think. That was what year was that? 2006,
8, I believe.
2006. Yeah, I was trying to think. If I remember correctly, the first person that I feuded with was Iceman, if I remember rightly. And we just literally beat the living snot out of each other for however many shows we had together, So, but yeah, I mean, just, it was one of those shows that shows like that hadn't really hadn't come about that much, So, to be on a show with the likes of Christian and Abyss and Rhino and people like that, yeah, it was great fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. And obviously, we'll shift focus obviously to the recent one. Obviously, you was at All or Nothing against Cara Noir. Obviously, I was there as well. I mean, what was that like for you going back to obviously 1PW?
Oh, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Just again, I mean, that's the first time I've been home since before the pandemic. So it's the first time I touched down on British soil in a long time. So to go back and to get the reaction I did and stuff like that, that was great fun.
Yeah, what was it like feuding obviously with Cara Noir? Because obviously he's got a lot of fans are taking to him.
I mean, it was the first time I'd wrestled him, so I think it went fairly well. So
yeah,
but yeah, he's a good lad,
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I was like, it's a shame he's obviously injured, but I mean, what can we do? These obviously things happen. So obviously, I was looking obviously into the history, and obviously, you have the record for being the 1PW World Champion at 681 days. Wow, I mean, what's that like? Listening to that stat.
It seems like so long ago now, just this, I mean, I'm trying to think, I was open weight champion as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just again, whenever a company wants to put their belt on you, just it's so humbling because it's just okay. Well, we trust you, so it's it's real good in that regards, So, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think some of the matches I had. Actually, I think I won that the weekend of, if I remember rightly, that was when all the ECW guys were down. If I remember rightly, I know it was me and Sterling James Kingdom, right?
It was 18th of April 2009.
Wow, 2009. Fuck. God, I'm getting old. Jesus Christ. I'm really old now, mate. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. But yeah, I was speaking to obviously Stevie Aaron obviously a few weeks ago, and obviously he said how much it meant to him. Obviously seeing you after so many years. What's it like? Obviously seeing Stevie.
Oh, I mean, good. So much. I mean, it's again, so much has happened since I've seen those guys. I moved to the States, and just so much. Just so it's always good to catch up with good people. So.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, apart from 1PW, you've done work for obviously Rev Pro, which is obviously another big one in the UK. What's it like working there?
I mean, I'm trying to think. Yeah, the last time I worked for Rev Pro was 2016, I want to say. But again, it was before they branched off and became what they did. That was my home promotion. So, so it's, again, what else can you say about Rev Pro? Look who they book, look who they fly in, look who works for them. Just, it's an absolutely fantastic company.
Oh yeah, definitely. And obviously looking back at UK, Korea, what's some of your favourite highlights? What do you look back and going, I'm proud of that moment?
Trying to think. I know the match. I mean, obviously, I had my breakout match against Samoa Joe, which was a huge, like, if it wasn't for that match, then probably wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
There was that match. There was the match with Kid Cash. When I came back to Rev Pro for the first time, when I worked Pete, and then I worked at a few of the shows, and then just that I'm a wrestler. I don't look at what I've done as okay, what's next? So it's, again, I've been very, very, very blessed with my career. So there's not really a moment that stands out where I'm like, okay, that's the best moment. Just I've just been so lucky. So I'd love all of it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I was looking obviously again for your history, and you've been a face and a heel. So which is do you prefer face or do you prefer heel?
Depends on the crowd, really. There's not really a
That's an interesting.
I haven't got a preference. So
fair. Wow. What can I say about that one? I mean, some people prefer the face, some people prefer the heel. Mr. Isaac, what about you? Do you prefer the face or the heel? I mean, we've had this discussion before.
I think I would prefer to be a heel because then I could just like unleash my inner like meanness towards everybody. It just seems to me like that would be a lot of fun being a heel.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah, absolutely. So again, I was referring back to Stevie Aaron. He sent me a little clip, and I just want to get your thoughts on this. So if you can listen to this.
I also ask him, how he felt in the early days when we were doing like TV for like Real Quality Wrestling, RQW, and the second incarnation of FWA when he was put as the main guy, as the champion and stuff. If he felt that they were going to go anywhere or anything like that, or if there was some kind of feeling that it was going to be another RQW in terms of FWA, because what happened was, just to explain it quickly, and I don't know if you would have seen it or anything, but when we did RQW tapings, like he was the main guy, he was the champion that couldn't be defeated, and he was babyface. And then when we did FWA, he won the tournament, won the title again, and he gave this speech about how amazing it was. And then he was like, and everything's exactly the same. And that's how he sort of turned heel. I would just maybe ask him how much truth was in that, and if he felt that, it was just going to be another failed project, if that makes sense.
Did you understand all that?
Yeah, right. So what? So did I think that FWA was going to fail, or
the second generation? I think that's what he meant. I mean, I'm only going to know what he obviously said.
The show just. I don't have opinions and stuff like that. I'm just like, a show's a show. So if I get paid, if I get booked, then I'm going to give my best to that promoter. Like, no. I'm not a fan of that way of thinking. Like, just the show's a show. So
okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So, have we got any questions in the comments, Mr. Isaacs?
Yeah, we do have one from F and Wrestling, and it is: who would you say is your favorite opponent?
Favorite opponent? I don't know. I mean, it's not as though like I had a super long feud with people. So just, there's been so many guys that I've loved getting in the ring with, like Pete, Samoa Joe. I love getting in the ring with Oni when we used to, before we started teaming. Love getting in the ring with Yui. So I don't really have a favorite opponent. I've just been, again, I've been very, very, very lucky in the fact that I've been in the ring with a lot of really good talent.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment there. So, got a few little fans questions here because obviously we put a post out and it says, this one's from Ali Bain. He says, has the ever recovered from the cannonballs you took from the Iceman?
Have I ever recovered? Yes, no, I have. I'm good. Yes, I think so. So, funnily enough, today marks 20 years that I've been a professional wrestler. So,
Wow.
I think I've recovered. Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's brilliant. So, next one comes from Martin Donahue, who says, has the governor ever thought about naming a move Stone Age, as in take them to Stone Age?
No. No. Sorry, mate.
No, that's absolutely fine. I'm only reading what people's put in. I think F Wrestling's put another question, Mr. Isaacs.
Yeah. Who did you grow up idolizing in wrestling?
This is going to be a controversial statement that I'm about to say. So, but it wasn't until, obviously as a kid, I'd watched, when I first started watching wrestling, it was Wrestling Challenge and Wrestling Superstars, so I was around about 6, 7. But then it wasn't until I saw Chris Benoit perform, and I saw him perform, and I was like, okay, I want to be a professional wrestler. So, so it was him, Fit Finlay, Mark Rocco, William Regal, all the guys that could go. It was, so.
All great choices. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll move on to the next question. This is kind of like a 3-part question. It comes from Paul Sutton. So you've kind of covered the first one. It says, who from the new 1PW will you like to feud with from the current product?
I don't know. There's again, I'm trying to think it was there. I mean, it'd be good to have a match with Will Ospreay just because it's never been done before. But, in terms of feuding, I don't really, I don't look at stuff and go, oh, okay, I have to, just, again, I'm a journeyman wrestler. I'm a professional wrestler. This is what I do. So I don't really look at people and go, oh, I want to feud with him or do this. That's not really what I do. I just want to be, if I get booked on that day, I will literally work my backside off. Hopefully I get to then come back as well. So, but I'd have to say that the last person left for me to really wrestle in England is Will, because it hasn't been done. So yeah, I'd have to say Will.
Yep, 1PW. If you're listening, book it. A follow up to that one is: so what about tagging with somebody in the current 1PW product? Who would you like to tag with? Because obviously you've been part of tag teams as well.
I'm really full about it. These are all questions that just but I mean, it'd be kind of fun to do something with Haskins, I guess.
Oh yes, Haskins, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, just again, I don't really watch stuff to go, oh, I want to team with him, or oh, I want to, so.
Yeah, I mean I've got any more questions for you, Mr. Isaac? You thought any on the spot?
What do you have like a favorite match of this year that you've had?
Favorite match of this year?
Yes, sir.
I mean, to be fair, I thought my career, in view of how 2022 went, and realistically from March of 2021, was when I first got hurt and got injured, and then obviously, having to have 4 shoulder surgeries inside of a year. I didn't think I was actually going to be wrestling again with how, just because I had all the complications, I came back and then I got re-injured. Then like my collarbone on the right side got broken. Then it got infected. And then just, I had so many issues with that arm, which is why I was completely out for 2022. And just, right now, to just each match is a blessing because I'm back. And I never thought I'd, if you would have told me December last year, oh, hey, you're cleared, I'd have been like, wait, what? Like, just, I went through an absolute nightmare to come back. So, yeah, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Just, getting fired, getting released, getting served divorce papers. Just, you know, like 2022 was rough. So as such, right now, like, I mean, I had the main place I work for in the States is CW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. And they've just revived Championship Wrestling from Florida, the old TV show,
Yeah.
which is being booked by Kevin Sullivan, you know. So
Oh,
getting
nice.
to work with him, and you know, so just, you know, right now, just each match has been my favorite, because I never thought I'd be back. No, I really thought, as of last year, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm out. But, you know, luckily I'm not. So
I imagine that's hard for you, obviously, personally as well, because all you've actually known is obviously professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucked. It was a real bad year, real bad year. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Any more questions from the comments?
Yeah, we got another question from F and Wrestling. What memorabilia do you have from your NXT days?
Nothing whatsoever.
Nothing whatsoever.
No.
Okay. Now I'm always curious. When you win a championship, do they let you keep like a replica version of the belt or anything like that? No.
No, just I think for the guys that have the belts that they've won, they've obviously bought them themselves. But
Okay.
again, I don't, you know, if you saw it, you know, if you saw my house or my apartment, you would have no idea that I'm a pro wrestler. I don't stick my pictures up on the wall or anything like that. I'm not, you know.
All right.
No.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a bit surprising that. I'm really that's the biggest surprise.
What? That I don't put pictures of myself up on my walls. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
I realised that after I actually said the question. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe not.
I've kind of just put myself on the spot here. Mr. Isaacs, take it away.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be one of those things where, like, maybe some of the more narcissistic folks might be might have their wall covered with themselves.
Hey, you know what? If people want to do that, no problem at all. But just that's not me. You know, that's just not me at all.
I've got a little comment here from one of our friends. It's, oh my god, it's Danny Burch. Oh, Martin Stone. We've got to get that right. Come on now, guys. Come on.
It's like everybody has their WWE name and then they have their everywhere else name. It seems like that's kind of a established thing.
Yeah.
We do have another questions from Dallas. What was your favorite match during your time at NXT?
I would say I still haven't watched it back. Because I know that I'll rip my performance apart. But the tag match at Takeover Chicago was, you know, again, it was that, you know, to go from being completely hated by the crowd to then being able to swerve them and, you know, change direction and get them to like cheer for us by the end of it. Magic moment that I will never ever forget. So,
yeah, that's masterful storytelling when you can have the whole crowd against you and then like flip them.
Well, especially because obviously we were the baby faces as well. So to come out to get booed out of the building, it was like, all right, well, let's you know, time to roll our sleeves up and see what we can do, you know, and just, you know, it worked. It just worked, you know, and it was. I mean, that match was it. That night I will never ever forget.
Yeah,
know?
Absolutely.
Again. Ultimately, it didn't really lead anywhere because I don't think they knew I don't think they expected us to get over like we did, which I think is why some of the booking could have been pretty questionable. But
F and Wrestling says that's some Rocky V shit.
I loved it. Yeah.
Liam, what else you got for us, my man?
I mean, I've covered obviously a lot of stuff, but is there any chance you will be coming back to 1PW anytime soon?
I mean, if they book me, so we'll see.
Do you think you'll ever end up back in WWE or NXT at some point?
What's that?
Do you think you'll ever wind up back in the WWE ecosystem at some point?
Probably not.
All right. What about AEW? Do you keep up with their product at all?
I watch it from time to time, but just again, right now I'm literally just trying to focus on getting back in ring shape, getting back in gym shape. I'm not really looking at, I need to go here and I need to go there and I need to do this and I need to do that. I'm at this point in time, I am just so thankful and lucky to be back wrestling after the near the year that I went through of being injured and all those surgeries. Just right now, I'm just happy to be back. So I haven't really got a focus right now. So
yeah, so that's the thing. So what's obviously now you just said there obviously you're glad to be back. So have you got? I imagine you've got some goals now. Then obviously trying to achieve.
Not really. Just take it one day at a time right now. So just it's I don't know. I just want to keep on wrestling. I don't have a specific thing of okay, in 6 months' time I want to be there or anything like that. So
okay,
F1 Wrestling wants to know who is the best seller in pro wrestling in your opinion.
Best seller? What, in terms of what they sell? Or no, I'm kidding. I don't like the word sell. I prefer the word react. But yeah, I get you'd have to put Shawn up there, Shawn Michaels up there as because he could any babyface that can garner sympathy is a good seller, or they're doing what they're supposed to do. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say Shawn.
Yeah, Shawn always sold his ass off in every match. Yeah. I mean, you always felt like he was getting killed.
Yeah, which is again, if you do, that's the response that you should be trying to bring out of the crowd. They should be taking all the hits with you. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, we spoke a little bit about NXT. So, what did you learn overall being in NXT?
What in terms of, it's one of those places that you don't have an excuse to not get better because you're literally in the company of some of the greatest minds in wrestling. But again, people need to realize that working for a mainstream global monster that is WWE, people need to realize that it's now it's a business. So you need to approach it as a professional and just be the most professional you can be and not complain and, oh, well, it's not fair. I'm not winning tonight. Like, no one cares. Like, cry me a river. Just guess what? It is what it is. So I think people, so for me, I learned to appreciate the business side of it, So and again, I was there for 4 years and, I had an absolute blast. I loved every minute of it. So.
Did you have a mentor while you were there?
Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor. Okay.
Yeah, we got real close.
Oh, that's cool. Liam, what else you got?
I've got nothing at the moment. Have you got anything?
I do not. I do have a comment from Dallas, though. He said that MJF is up there with Shawn Michaels. What do you think about MJF? Do you like him?
I'm trying to think. I don't know, Max. I was on shows with him before AEW came about, and yeah, he's a great guy.
All right, fantastic heel, that's for sure. The way he riles a crowd up is it's unbelievable. Dallas says, "Do you have any crazy fan stories?" This is always kind of an interesting question.
Yeah, I haven't got any. No.
Nobody's done anything crazy or.
No, I haven't got nothing.
What about stories on the road, like obviously traveling and all that? I'm sure you've got some stories to share with that.
No, because just when we would travel, we were all on a coach, so it wasn't it wasn't like it was back in the day when there'd be a group of 4 of you and you just jump in the car and you drive 200 miles and stuff like that. I've always been. I haven't got any wild road stories. I was always throughout most of my career, I've been married, so I've never done anything stupid. So it's just, so pretty boring, really.
It's so boring. I think you're more just laid back, just straight to the point. I think that's probably the best thing I can say. It was never. I never got into wrestling for the lifestyle of being a wrestler, which I know that some people do. They just want
that lifestyle of the travel and stuff like that. I just got into wrestling because I wanted to be a wrestler. So it was never, yeah.
That's one thing you hear a lot from people in the business today is that the debauchery of like the 70s and 80s that became the lore is kind of like not really that prevalent nowadays.
Well, we live in completely different times now because what's the one thing that we have that can literally ruin your career in 2 seconds flat?
The internet. Exactly.
So,
it holds everybody accountable 24/7.
Yeah, so it's just, it's a completely different time period now. Just like you just can't do it really. Well, I mean, not that I did anything like that, but when you hear the stories and the wild stuff that they got up to, you just wouldn't be able to do it now.
We got another question come in. What got you started on the road to pro wrestling?
When I first started watching wrestling when I was 7 years old.
7 years old. Who was your favorite wrestler when you were 7?
It was a combination of Ultimate Warrior and Barry Windham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
That is an absolute two legends there. Wow. I mean, especially Ultimate Warrior.
Well, I mean, obviously you see someone like that sprint into the ring, absolutely jacked, tassels and pink neon color, like every single neon color you can think of. How can you not love that as a kid?
See, I felt the same way. You and I are, I think, close to the same age, and I loved the Ultimate Warrior when I was a kid. Like just the over-the-top aesthetic, the nonsensical promos, the face paint. I mean, I love the whole gimmick. It was cool to a little kid, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Any more, Mr. Isaac? Like I said, fire away. I mean, we've got still plenty of time, so.
That is all I have at the moment. What have you got, Liam?
I've got nothing. I mean, all the fans' questions have been answered. I mean, literally, Martin's absolutely banging them straight, bang, 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 bang. It's absolutely on fire today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, I do not mess about, gents. So
no, and that's absolutely credit to you there, my friend. So, I mean, if we've got anything else, we might as well wrap this up then, shall we?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
So, before we do our outro, Martin, is there anything you want to plug, my friend?
No, just to any fan that has paid to come watch me perform and has bought a ticket or bought a shirt or a piece of merchandise over the years, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. But yeah, just again, if you I'm on Twitter at StrongStyleBrit and the same on Instagram. If you want to come follow me on that, and you can see what I'm getting up to. But then just again, the fans that come and support me and have come and watched me over the years, thank you very much.
Awesome. So, yeah, if you want to follow all our social medias, you can head to effingwrestling.com. We're absolutely everywhere. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Mr. Eyes, as always, we're everywhere, right?
We are everywhere. We're on Pro Wrestling Tees as well, Effing Wrestling. And I do have to say, we also run the Pro Wrestling Tees store of Adrian Adonis as well. So if you are into the adorable Adrian Adonis, go buy a t-shirt, watch this episode of Dark Side of the Ring that's going to happen soon, and support the cause.
And of course, we've got our own Pro Wrestling Tee store, prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can buy yourself the All Effing Wrestling shirt, which is modeled by the lovely Natalia Markova. You can get the Magic of Wrestling one, which I'm wearing there. We've absolutely loads of designs there. Do you know what I mean? There's so many to choose from. So, yeah, I mean, that's all from us. Marty Stone, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All
So
right.
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Magic Man out.
Lovely.